Hey Meeple people, and on today's vlog, we're playing Millennial Manatees by Jason Anarchy Games. Let's get to it! Hey Meeple people, and hello Sarah.
Hi there.
So what game are we going to be playing on our vlog today?
Today we are playing Millennial Manatees, a 1 to 4 player game by Jason Anarchy Games, which sent us this copy for the channel. Thank you very much. It is a game where we are Millennial Manatees and we are attempting to pay off our student loan debts. And the first manatee who can do that successfully wins the game. Would you like me to tell you a little bit about how it plays?
Yes, please.
Okay, so each of us has a manatee that represents us in the game, and on your turn you're going to select a location to send your manatee, and there's a couple of different locations down here where you can send your manatee. Boomer Handout just gives you a coin. Pay back your student loan debt lets you take any money that you've accumulated and actually pay it towards your student loan. Take the Toast lets you take the Avocado Toast first player token. The Lost Manatee Gold would let you take any gold that's accumulated in this section here, or you can go to one of these areas as well. If you go to this area right here, you just get an intern, which is a card that you can use on a future turn to influence turn order, or maybe get something for free, or all kinds of different useful things. If you go to one of these locations, you're going to pay this cost right here and then acquire this item, and it will give you bonuses throughout the rest of the game. So what's going to happen is on a player's turn, they're going to take their manatee pawn and they're going to select a location where they'd like to go where there are no other players. The only location where multiple players can accumulate is the pay back the student loan debt area. So maybe I think that it would be really useful to get this this card right here. So I put my manatee on it, and then once everybody has placed their manatees, we all recall our manatees and do the action of their space. So let's pretend that I have a little bit of money in my vanity pack. So I would have put this guy here on my turn, and then at the end of this round, in turn order, we would take our manatees back off and do that thing. So I would pay $1 for this one here, and then I would get this here. But it means that for the rest of the game, anytime the next card I'm about to show you would have a particular attribute, then I would get some extra money. So after all the players have done that, we're going to turn over the top card of this deck right here. And if it were a manatee, I'm going to skip that one for now because it's not. If it were a manatee, then this particular manatee would trigger any cards that anybody has in front of them. So if, for example, let's say that this guy had actually been the manatee that we turned over. So it's the end of the round, we turn over the cards, and this is the manatee that comes up. Well, my particular podcaster card over here says that when the manatee is wearing a red shirt, I gain a coin. So this is the manatee, I would get to gain a coin. And then we would just continue the next round with all of the manatees having been recalled at this point, starting with the first player, again, whoever has the toast. We would just put our manatees back out and then do their actions and recall them again. And we would continue doing that until one player has paid off their student loan debt of 20 coins. And sometimes while you're turning over manatee cards, you'll encounter non-manatee cards, which are sort of like event cards. So if that were the case, while you're turning over manatee cards, if you turn over a non-manatee card, you do whatever it says, and then you turn over another card. If it's a manatee, you're good. You do the manatee stuff. If it's not a manatee, if it were another sort of like event card, then you would just continue to do the card effects and then turn over cards until you get a manatee. And that's pretty much the game. Should we give it a try?
Yes. Let's go ahead and jump into Millennial Manatees and see how this ridiculousness is gonna go down. So yeah, let's get into it, and we'll come back mid-game and talk to you guys how we're doing. All right, toodles. Welcome back, Meeple people, and hello, Sarah.
Hi there.
So, Sarah, how's it going in Millennial Manatees so far?
It's going. I have $17 paid off of my $20 student loan debt. Nick
do?
has $5 paid off of his.
Yeah, I'm a terrible,
Terrible loan repair.
yeah. It's kind of hard. You were getting some good draws where, you see right here, I would be getting, coins from manatees that we draw, and if they had these specific, like, looks or things on them, then I would get...
attributes.
Yeah, attributes, I'd be getting coins, but I'm not. But Sarah is, and then
I have
also,
a lot of high value cards.
Yeah. And I was trying to see if low, but all the low ones are just the same. They're just all T-shirts. They're not, anything. I didn't diversify.
So there's 3 different types of cards that you can acquire, right? There's these, which they're usually right here, and they only cost $1. They're basic cards, and what they do is that when the manatee that's drawn is wearing a particularly colored shirt, then you get paid out, right? So when this manatee was drawn, I have the blue shirt. So because he was drawn, I got paid out $1 for having the blue shirt trigger, right?
Yeah.
And then, so this one is all about shirt colors. This one is all about hairstyles, and it pays out differently based on what hairstyle the manatee is wearing. And then this one is sort of about like items that the manatees might have with them. This particular manatee doesn't have anything with him, but we've seen some in this game that had, like this one is wearing a scarf. This one is got a cup of coffee. This one has like a satchel. This one has a phone. So the different manatees have different sort of attributes that pay out based on what you've collected. And the point of the game is to try to get a lot of money. So when you're getting money, you're usually buying new attributes that you can sort of add to like your hand, and hoping that by spending the money to obtain those attribute cards, then you will make more money on them later.
Yeah.
And then
you got some good ones where you were hitting on it. And
Yeah.
I was just going for too much low value, so then you got money, and then you drew that card that allowed you to flip over your what is it called? Not a fanny pack. It's a fantasy pack.
Yes, fantasy pack. So the fantasy packs are usually have a limit of 7 coins, I believe. But I drew an intern, which is a location that you can go. I drew an intern that let me flip over my fantasy pack so that it holds more money now.
Yeah.
There's an interesting sort of thing that happens in the game where you have like this limit on the amount of money that you can hold, and if you ever are like maxed out and would gain additional money, instead of it going to your fantasy pack or even just being lost, instead it goes to this lost manatee gold section here, and that becomes another area where players can go, and if a player goes there, then they can like scoop all the money that's left in that area there. So you want to be like kind of greedy, but not to the point that you're going to make too much and then potentially be leaving behind a big pile of money for the other players.
Yeah, especially whoever has the piece of toast.
Yeah, the first player token.
Yeah, because if you leave that open, then it's just people can get a lot of money that way, and then also you have a lot of advantage being the player with the first player token, because you have first dibs on getting the boomer handout, which is just to get a coin, and just free reign, because then now the basics are all out. This is another interesting thing about the game, is that each of these sort of like draw piles, when it runs out, it opens up an area where like I could have gone here before and I would have just bought a card from here, right? But now all these cards are gone, and instead of this just being out of the supply kind of thing, now manatees can go here and they can gain coins. And that's true at the end of each one of these draw piles. So when we deplete a draw pile completely, we will uncover a new location, which will provide a gold benefit to the player who gets to go there. So that's kind of an interesting twist on the draw pile being depleted too. So. Yeah, it's not just gone and it's just like this empty space. It's still usable and still in a place for action.
And it's kind of a nice ramp up mid to late game, because as you're playing, you're accumulating more and more of these nice cards and stuff. But typically, the only places you can really go directly to get just money at the beginning of the game is the Boomer Handout area. So as the game ramps up, players who have to go here instead of doing something else maybe won't feel as like it's as good of an option as some of the other things. But as we uncover more of these areas like this one, then more options and better options will become available to players who don't feel like they should be spending their money, or don't have enough money, or don't want to get another intern, or that kind of thing.
Yeah. All right. We're just about at the end. We got a little carried away because we were just kind of like.
Well, I've only dropped off money twice. And both times I've had both times I've had quite a bit.
So you were able to kind of like accelerate the game.
Yeah,
the game's only I think 15 to 30 minutes.
This is the box, and it doesn't have a box time on it, so I couldn't tell you what the box time is.
That. But yeah. All right, well, let's get back into Millennial Manatees and check it out and see who the winner and loser is. So, until then, toodles! Hello, Sarah. And hello, Meepy people. Now we are back, and Sarah is the victor. She totally whooped me. And it's not like anybody could tell from our midway point of who was going to be the winner. Yeah, no way. So, okay, my Millennial Meeple Queen. Millennial Manatee Meeple Queen, yeah. So how'd it go?
It went. It's pretty quick. I think we played a full game in like probably less than 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's very fast. I think it's supposed to be, kind of portable. It's got this, it comes in this fanny pack, yeah. and the whole game like packs down into that. So I think it doesn't really take up a lot of space. I think, it's supposed to be like sort of portable. You can kind of carry it around with you and sort of play whenever kind of thing. It was light strategy, but there was definitely like a little bit of strategy that you could employ here and there. It was interesting as far as the game goes. The theme is the whole theme, which is like really permeated throughout the entire game. I can't figure out if it's like a caricature or if they're actually like poking fun at millennials, or I'm not really sure like how they approached this theme. I don't know, like
what the minds behind this were thinking.
Yeah, I don't know if like millennials made this and they thought that it would be funny to mention some of these like kind of stereotypical millennial like attributes or things like the avocado toast and stuff like that. I personally don't really find this to be very funny. I think it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be like lighthearted, sort of a caricature of millennials. I don't think it was intended to like actually make fun of millennials or like be offensive. And offensive is a very strong word for this, but I don't think it was supposed to be like offensive or anything like that to millennials. But it's definitely an interesting approach to a game to theme it after sort of like stereotypical traits of an entire generation of people. I don't know that I think that that's a good choice. But like I said, I think it's supposed to be funny, and maybe it's just not my kind of humor. Or maybe I'm not the target demographic for this theme. I'm not really sure what's up with that. But so that is a little bit odd. And I kind of felt like the entire time I was like, because I am a millennial, I was kind of like, are they making fun of me? Or is this just supposed to be like fun, lighthearted, sort of teasing? Or like, what is this?
To me, it felt like it was trying to make it like lighthearted, but since like we're both considered millennials, it's kind of like, well, we've had to deal with sometimes where an older generation or even a younger generation will be like millennial this, millennial that, and I just really hate being uh, labeled at something. And it's like, well, hold on, like, don't just boil me down to a generational like category. Just like, figure out who I am instead of just being like, oh, you're just a millennial. It's like, yeah, no, like, I am a person, and I am Nick.
See, I feel like that just opens up like this huge can of worms to me
Yeah.
that like I feel like was like potentially problematic one way or the other, whether you are a millennial, whether you're not, whether you like them, whether you don't, whatever. I think like it's fairly well agreed that this could be a potentially volatile theme. So it's a little interesting to me that they chose a theme with potential volatility for such a light, sort of fun, supposed to be experience.
Yeah, because other than the theme, I enjoyed how much the first player token had a part in things. I enjoyed the icons that you were trying to gain, and so you would gain more money through that, and paying back the student loan thing. That was kind of like haha, a little bit. I mean, it was the lost gold. So if you gain so much gold, it would go there. I mean, even some of the cards and even some of the volunteers, those cards were changing. Like, well, that's how I got more. I was able to carry more gold. Yeah, it was interesting. It's just the theme really sticks out and could have a.
I think if you like the theme, you're gonna think that it's really, really funny,
Yeah.
and you're gonna like really enjoy pointing out like, oh, look at this little detail, or oh, look at this flavor text, or whatever. But I think if you don't like the theme, it's not gonna be one that you can completely ignore. I think you can like ignore a lot of it, but I think it's not going to be one that you can just kind of like put the theme out of your head the entire
And also
game
there's
either.
that, if you've had to deal with this in your life where someone has labeled you at work because
or however,
or just
if someone
however,
has
but, like,
negatively labeled
yeah.
you a millennial,
and
then
you're kind
some
of
of
like,
this
well,
might
hey,
be
yeah,
a
this
little
might
bit
be
of a
little,
sore subject.
Yeah, exactly. And even playing maybe with an older generation is like that you show this to, and they're kind of like, oh yeah, this is totally right, and you're kind of like, oh well, I thought we were just going to play this little light fun game, but
Yeah.
and that's the thing, the theme really shows through, and so
Well,
it's like,
I think it shows through definitely in like the flavor text and the artwork and like the names of the locations and stuff like that. But what you're actually doing in the game, that it's fairly easy to set the theme aside.
Yeah.
While you're actually like mechanically carrying out your turns and stuff like that.
And that I think it's a nice little game, with the theme set aside. But then, just as I said before, like the theme just kind of like, if you can't put
feel
the
like
theme
it's an
aside,
odd choice. I feel like it's an odd choice to theme such a light, like fun game with a theme that's potentially divisive. But maybe
And some
I'm
people
being like way
Yeah.
oversensitive
and some
about it.
people like
Maybe
being called a millennial, or like, just take that and like, yeah, I'm a millennial, and they might take this as like, yeah, this is, a funny little like a jab at, or like, like you said, caricature of millennials and manatees and all that good stuff. And it's just like, okay, that's for you, might not so much for you, but again, the gameplay was good. I like that. Just
yeah,
the theme
gameplay was nice.
kind of was like a little off-putting. It was just kind of like, oh yeah, I've dealt with this, and yeah, people might chuckle and laugh. So, I mean, if you don't mind the theme, I would definitely say, hey, check this out. But if the theme is going to kind of come up and it's going to be like a sore subject with the group that you play with, I don't know if you should invite this into that, because then people would just, I don't know, the experience might be devolve, or or
I don't think it's like problematic, right?
No.
I just also think like it definitely gave us pause, and we were kind of like just a tiny bit uncomfortable the whole time, because I wasn't really sure if it was supposed to be like a fun, lighthearted caricature of millennials, or if they were actually like legitimately making fun of millennials. And that like it brought back to mind in school if you ever got bullied and the bullies were like, they're like, oh, come on, it's just all in good fun, but they're really being like a bully, about something in particular. Like, okay, but maybe it's not like all in good fun. Maybe you're actually like being a bit of a bully, But I think probably we're
getting
probably
a little too,
reading too much into it and being a little bit oversensitive. Aside from the theme, though, we think that the gameplay is fun and interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
And there are some things about it that I think that they've done really, really nicely. One of the things I really liked was having the sort of new areas where you could go uncovered after a deck was diminished completely.
Yeah, and like I said, getting icons. When you gain these cards, you gain money from the icons that will come out later, which is like, okay, yeah, totally cool. The first plane token being a big part of it, gaining money just through a spot so you can not totally be caught off, and then the play where you can go pay your money. That's a big thing. Sarah was paying a lot of money, and she just had a nice engine going, and it was. I
think there's definitely enough interesting choices to where you always feel like there's something valuable that you could do on your turn. Like Nick said, the first player token and actually taking the first player token, I feel like in some games as an option that feels kind of arbitrary, but in this one there were actually moments where it felt like a strategic decision to take the first player token. So definitely. I think that among other areas you could go made it so that there was always an interesting choice about where to go, and you never felt like you're just like, I guess I'll just go here because there's nothing else I really wanted. There was always something where you're like, I could go here and I could do this, or I could go this way and I could do something else. And so I feel like there was definitely like enough interesting decisions so that I always felt like I had something meaningful to do on my turn. And I liked the way that the game kind of evolved over the course of the game, right? Where you start out with like almost nothing. You have a little bit of money in your vanity pack at the very beginning of the game, but you don't have like anything set up or like ready yet. So as you play, you gain more and more of these cards, and like Nick said, it's got a kind of a bit of an engine builder feel to it. To me it felt a little tiny bit like kind of like a deck builder almost, because you're buying these cards and you're like putting them in front of you. So I feel like the mechanics of everything worked like well together, and like I said, I appreciate that I always had something on my turn to do that I was interested in doing.
Yeah, definitely. Well, all right. So this was Millennial Manatees. We're happy that you all joined us for this vlog, and leave in the comments about what, would the theme permeate too much in your game group, or would you actually enjoy this theme? I think the manatees are cute, and with the avocado toast and all that, I think some of it was like, haha, but then like, as we mentioned, and don't want to beat the dead horse, but there's the millennial thing kind of rubbed us the wrong way, I guess, but not enough to, I would recommend not looking into this. If it seems like a game that you'd be interested in, I would definitely check it out, because like we said earlier, the theme isn't like so heavy-handed that you're like, oh my gosh, just shut up already, right? It's not that bad, not at all. And some people may even find this to be humorous. Like I said, I just wasn't sure if I was being made fun of or not, so. All right. That was Millennial Manatees, and we're happy you all joined us on this vlog. So until next time, check it out. And oh my gosh, I'm just blabbing now. But hit that subscribe button. Keep the data on all of our... Oh my gosh, Sarah, I don't know what's going on over here. So like and subscribe. Join us next time. All right. Toodles!